And hello. Today is another day, and I'm Dan Lutz, and welcome to our latest broadcast on changing the world to abundance through our collective efforts to come together. So this is the end of the week, Friday. You know, I haven't noticed any weekends because I've been doing this every day now for 70 days plus. Should try and figure that out. But today's May 10th, and I have not spoken to Tank this morning, so I do not know what's going on. I just sent him the links, and I had a unusual day yesterday. I had to go in to Manila, and that takes a lot of time. So anyway, I'm not going to really go into the details, but it's very interesting things happening all around the world. Anyway, we'll probably cover this at some other point. So, but I do want to cover what we've been covering for the last bit of time, and that's the GCR, and exactly the end of it. Now, I haven't had much time to do any research. I asked Tank to send me what he saw. Benjamin Fulford had spelled out for why the GCR is over and done with. But again, I haven't gotten that material from him, and I haven't been able to speak to him about it today. So I'm sure he'll be joining us shortly. But let me go ahead, and I'm going to just play something. This is I'm going to share my screen first, and I'm doing this. I know that I've been doing this the last few days, but I think it's important to get a whole and understand this, so everyone knows that this is what we're talking about. This is the Restored Republic via the GCR update as of May 4th, and it's on Neotech is the YouTube channel. So I'm going to go ahead and play it.
Overcome evil and change the world. Judy note, this would be my last Restored Republic via GCR report.
Last report. This is her last report. Her, because meaning there's a female voice.
As the title has come to fruition.
The title has come to fruition.
The Restored Republic was on the horizon. All needed to complete the RV, GCR was done.
Everything needed to complete the RV is done.
It's frozen, and I have been advised to keep it quiet.
So the intel is now frozen, and she's advised to keep this quiet.
Your guess was as good as mine as to when redemption notices and 800 numbers would be released.
My guess is never, and I think that's actually a very good guess.
Read the below for clues on how to play that game, including reports of the last week as shown in links at the bottom. RV, GCR problems have been resolved with exchange centers on standby, paymaster accounts liquid, rates locked into bank screens and trading live. The Iraqi dinar and USTN started trading May 1st. Certain way.
Now, the UTNs and all this stuff has been said to have been traded for, as far as I know, at least 2 years, right? Started trading now, right? No, they've been traded in the upper echelons between countries and all this. They've been talking about this for now 2 years that this has gone on. I think Tank has joined us. Are you there, Tank?
I am.
Yeah. So anyway, just recovering again the Restored Republic announcement. Let me go. I'll go a little bit further into it and we'll stop.
Whales have been paid out so they could pay others, and as of this writing, prosperity packages were being delivered. While on Wednesday, May 15th, the general public was set to start exchanges, we in the private internet group have long been told we will go at least a week to 10 days prior, and all at once, with 800 numbers and notification for appointments expected at any time.
So did that happen? It's been, how many days since this has come out? 4 days?
Well, May 15th is coming up, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, this is May 4th. They gave this report, and then May 10th is today for me. So it's a six days later, no 800 numbers given out, right, by anyone. No one's, got all the funds and roaming around with them, as far as I can tell.
No, but you know what? I have a great update if you want.
Sure.
So, as what we were talking about this week, what my suspicions were with the system are 100% accurate. The Kim has taken the system and she has completely reprogrammed it. She's actually written it in a code and a language that there's only about 4 people on the planet who even know what it is. And every single agency, every single outside source outside of the banks has been completely isolated and cut off and no longer can interfere. What they were doing was they were, when you would transfer something, say from, Ireland to New York, it would go from Ireland to Belgium to London to Cleveland and then to New York. And at each one of those terminals, they would leverage the money that landed there at like somewhere between 50 to 10,000 to 1. So for every dollar, 50 to 10,000 to 1, right? They would leverage that money, and that's how they've been staying afloat. And Kim has cut all of that off. That's no longer possible to do. And furthermore, she has taken now the head of the Department of Defense is Patrick Shanahan, who works directly for the trust, and he will be the head as the Pentagon acts as the temporary clearinghouse. Well, part of the temporary clearinghouse as the temporary treasury, and Kim herself is the clearinghouse. And so everything will have to be approved, and the Treasury, the Department of the Treasury for the United States, will not be allowed to access any funds until Steve Mnuchin is gone. And she has made it so there will be no stops in the transfer system. The transfers will now all be direct. It'll be direct from the current location to, directly into the accounts. There will be no stopping in between. There'll be no issue.
Well, I've got only one thing to say to that. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. I love it. So, basically, the fact that the Department of Defense is now completely on board. Patrick Shanahan, he asked to see certain proofs, of which Kim showed him, and the consensus was they could not believe that, one, a woman knew so much about the system, two, that such a small group was able to
upset the whole cabal and bring the U.S. military on board. as Tank's line has been cut again. See, they're still playing games, Tank. I think of that old, I think it was B-52 song. It was Kids in America, I think. I'm thinking, we're the clowns in America. Oh, we're the clowns in America. I know it's kids, but okay. Well, and I might be wrong on who was the author. Just a long time ago, this flashed. So, Tank, I don't know if you know this, that you're not on, but I will. I can call you and let you know that you're not on. I'll bump you off first. Well, good news, right? They're still messing around. Maybe they don't need any funds. Switch. Not connecting. Not connecting. Well, we got the report, right? Just in time. Well, hopefully he'll be jumping back on soon enough. Well, this is very good news. So major push forward, and I assume that we will have funds for the projects now. Well, this is the end of the week, so Monday. That would be good. So, well, I guess, well, I forget I'm already on. I'm ahead of the timeline here. Well, let's see. Maybe I'll go ahead and send the link out to Tui. Thinking that I thought about the beginning of time. Oh, let me do a couple of things here while we're getting some things going. I'll try an alternative method of connecting with Tank. I have more than one alternative. It's the clowns in America. That sounds like a good video to do. I've got some video projects I want to do, video memes. We shall see. Okay, guys, so we've got 138 watching, 27 likes. Come on, only 27 likes for such great information. You know, the funds have made it through. Everything's been bypassed. They've been cut out completely. Steve Mnuchin has to go before money goes directly into the U.S. Treasury again. You know, sounds like he won't be around too much longer. But only 27 likes. Come on, what are you guys doing there? You know, by the time we've gone through this an average episode, we have about 600 to 800 views is what is showing up as the number of people that viewed during this period that we've been on. Interesting, you know, only 140 watching at any one time. But I guess, you know, two-thirds of the people are just transient. They're in and out, in and out, in and out. That can make some sense. So Well, I'm not going to be able to do that here. So okay, let's move on to some questions. How about that? So we can see if Tank makes it back on. I'll do some moving around here. Excuse me. Share my screen. So we can talk about what projects everyone wants to start off with. Now, I would say, what we've discussed before is always starting with your own project, right? Because I may rephrase that. You as your own project, right? That would be first and foremost, because in order for you to get things handled, in order for you to create a project in which you're going to be able to devote your attention to, you have to solve all those little issues in your life, right, that have been nagging at you. So it's a good thing to get out of the way. There we go. Okay, so let's see, where are we at here? Let's get to the questions. Where we go, one we go all. .love. Be sure to join. It's in the description below. Now, I would say on this, let me switch over. I'm going to reset this. For those that are joining, there are people that are joining. Oh, yes. And but they're not actually doing the login and going to the membership. So that's what I want to point out to you, where that is, because some people don't even know that when you go to your login, of course, it always goes here first. You got to go back down here. It says I'm already a member, and then you get to your login screen. And so once you're here, you go down to my account or my profile, either one of those. And this will show you your member pages, right? And here's where you can change things around. So here would be like, if you made any comments on the blogs or on the forum, you would be able to see that here. You can also take a look at the blog from here. And you're also able to go to the forum. Now the forum would be up here under information. Go to War Room Forum. And this is where you can start interacting. And if you have information that you want to bring out, you're going to have to learn the categories that we have here. So the Plan to Save the World, the Rebel Training, a Great Awakening, Dark to Light, and the New Financial System. So these are the basic categories, and there's some subdivisions. So if I go here and look at the Great Awakening, here's 3 subdivisions you can act. So if it's something related to QAnon, you can put it here. If it's a red pill, if this is something you think is something to do with waking up people, you can list it here, right? You can add a post in here. Just create a post. When you do that, it will actually then also show up, and the people that are following you, we go back over. So the people that are following you would come up. So I've got like 1 follower, right? And I'm following 1. And you can see the other members that are joining in here. You can follow many of these other members. So if I were to select, well, let's say here 2 people added their photos in. So let me say I'm going to follow these 2 just for example, right? So now if I look back up here, it's going to say I'm following 3. So I would, when they did a post, I would know it would come up. And if they made a comment, I would also get notification of comments. So here's notifications. So this is a way that we can socially interact and keep track of, try and organize our information. So again, now if I go to the join, right, the forum area is that's set up that after you've created your account here, you go into these, choose your access. So in order to access the forum, you have to do the $1.11 per month, to access. That supports everything that I'm doing here to create this site and the costs involved in getting it set up and everything. So I appreciate $1.11 a month. There's if you want to add more support, you can bump it up to $8.88 a month, and you'll get access to a special Rebel chat, and then you can create your own categories in the forum. All right, and then this is basically a yearly, so basically a bit of a discount off of the $8.88, and also adds in Zoom conferences for the leaders or coordinating. So we're going to have a consistent. Now we still have to get this rolling. So this is just the launch, but these are the four steps. It's listed here at the top that you need to go through to join. So, all right. So let me go back to where we were there. Okay. Oh, I hit the wrong button. I stopped the sharing. Back over to here. There we go. There we go. So, well, thanks, Jim Bob, for getting me back to knowing that I should have got to answer some questions about the Where We Go, When We Go All.love website. So, while we're doing this, I just realized what I should do is I'll go ahead and I'll post the link in the chat. So if anyone wants to join in, if anyone would like to contribute into the Where We Go All website, just let me know where you think you can help add information. There's some people that are adding the information in the Telegram group, which is wonderful. Here's the issue with the Telegram group and with all of these other type. The things get lost, right? Because they go up into the stratosphere there, and so it's hard to coordinate and organize the data. You have to grab it as it comes by. If you have interest in it, save it off to someplace else, and that makes it a little more difficult. So that's the reason for the website. So if you have something in particular you want to go ahead and add, I think that would be something you do. So anyway, so here's again the link is there. Oh, it tends to break it. And I'm gonna put the link in again. I'm going to break it up. Oh, can I put it in the section below in the comment section? Let me see. There's the comment section. I'll add in the public comments, see if the whole thing. For some reason, I'm trying. Yeah, so it's in the comment section, not in the chat. The whole link is in the comment section. There you go. I'll still break it up in the super chat. But I've got to break it up. So you got to reassemble it. Otherwise, it cuts it in half. That's the first part, and that's the second part. You'll have to copy both of them out of there and put them together, right? And to make that into the link. For whatever reason, YouTube is not creating the link. They're truncating. They're cutting it off. So when people click on it, it ends up calling my phone. And it's not getting to the broadcast. Don't know why they're doing that. All right. So let's go back into the chat. Go. Okay. Back to the top. Oh, I can't get to the top. That's another thing. When I was getting it too zoomed into, then it doesn't let me. Let me get the top one in here. What a jaw dropper intel from Tommy tonight. Ah, well, so there was intel from Tommy too. Well, I'll have to catch that. I literally got no research done since I left the broadcast yesterday. Right, I was on the go, didn't stop until after 1 a.m. and woke up and continued on this little project I was on, and so have no research. So I'll catch up on what Tommy had to say. Okay, let's see. Okay. Yeah, we're at 136 watching right now, and the likes have gone up to 65. Well, that's better than we were, right? Because that's great news. We have 135 watching. Let's see if we can have 135 likes. Yeah, it's interesting that we should, since as I told you, by the time we're done with our broadcast, we usually have 3 times the number of views they're not showing. I always wonder how many are actually watching, during our show that are there. I find it hard to believe that 2/3 of the people just drop out. I can see, the other way around, maybe a third dropping out, but we would see, over this period that there was at least at one time watching 600, 500, 400, something like that, but always, 130, 120, 140. It's all right. It's okay. But it could be that. It's just hard to know when you're playing with the clowns in America. Right. Any questions? Anyone want to jump on? Okay. Can you please repeat what Tank said as I stepped away for a few minutes? And you liked. Okay, since you gave a like, I'll repeat what he had to say. Kim has broken through and is basically done what they've been working on. They're able to go direct to people's accounts. They're using the Pentagon as the interim treasury. Kim is the clearinghouse. They've appointed, now I didn't really catch the name of the one that has now stepped up to be, I guess, the one that's working with Kim from the Pentagon. He did mention the name. Does anyone know what the name was? I can put it here in the chat. But this gentleman, I guess, is the one that is going to be kind of acting like the Treasury Secretary, right? Interim, Pentagon's the interim Treasury, and I would be the interim Treasury Secretary. Now, I don't think there's an official title. I'm just kind of putting it in context of what it seems like he's going to be doing, and that they're moving forward with being able to, and the funds can now flow. That now things can move. It's done. It's happened. So I said hallelujah, and they bumped Tank. The craziness of it all. Hey, who's making comments about me? Dan is like this on other YouTube channels too. Yeah, I'm like this. This is who I am. Abel Danger was today waiting for 800 number Zims. Said Trump had to turn the knob and common law was now going in. Okay. Ken Dunn called Dan Lutz and the others a cabal today. Oh, oh, I'm so anti-cabal my whole life. I'm sorry, Ken, to disappoint you. Or I'm sorry, Kent Dunn. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I have nothing to do with the cabal. I've spent my life working towards the goal of creating the opportunity to change and have a path away from it. So you're welcome to call in, Kent, and we can talk about it But I'm sure you'll find that that's been my case from the beginning. And I can point you to many people in my whole business life that knows that this is what I've been working towards, all my whole life. Going all the way back. I don't think anyone could know that's known me can say that I haven't been on mission since then. I didn't call it mission back then, but I kind of had the idea where I was headed. Sorry, Kent. But please, let's have a conversation. Okay, let's see. For those interested in getting the latest intel from Tommy, because Tank keeps breaking up, he's not being allowed to give his full details. Watch out for my next post. Okay. All right, Arid. So actually I have Arid reminds me of something. This is about TBC, Kringle coin. There's a very, a very strong presence of TBC and Kringles. The point of it was to alleviate poverty. And where it's had the most impact and most success has been in the poorest of countries. Most notably, say, Nigeria has 1.5 million members. Philippines has 500 million members. A lot of the other countries are in the hundreds of thousands of members. There's total 3.3 million members. In Liberia, the leaders have got together. There's a conference that I'm going to be attending tomorrow, where there is a handful of leaders from the government of Liberia that are going to be there. And the topic of discussion is how to use TBC, as money in Liberia to help alleviate poverty. In fact, it can eliminate poverty in Liberia. And then we will be discussing that tomorrow. There will be 150 people at least at this conference. So it'll be interesting. And so Arid knows about this, and that's why I was bringing it up. So in case people are interested, that will be going on tomorrow. And I expect that if the Liberian government is interested to know how it can be used as a way to deliver. Now, this is not like the other cryptocurrencies out there. It can't be manipulated. Obviously, if there is always differences in when you go out and you do something that's completely out of the ordinary, which the Kringle coin is. It's not run by a market. There is no running up. If we go and look at Bitcoin right now, it went up $1,200 since yesterday. $1,200 price rise in Bitcoin in a day. 2 weeks ago, there was another $1,000 rise. And guess what? It's going to have another $1,000 rise, $1,000 rise, and another $1,000 rise, and another $1,000 rise, and another $1,000 rise. And I'm not going to be surprised if it makes it past $30,000 a Bitcoin in a very short period of time. And it may even go to 50,000, and it may even go to 100,000, because the cashless society is at hand, is being pushed by the IMF, right? And all of the, as we see in the island nations that have no money in their central banks, why is that? Why are they not able to get allocations from the Fed? Well, we know that from what Kim has been doing, what Tommy and Tank have all been participating in, and the changing of how this whole structure has been functioning. So now we know that this is moving forward. Now I know that the trust has no aspirations or wanting to back any cryptocurrency and sees it as the enemy of the people. I realize that. And Tank understands, and I've had many conversations with him about it, that what we've been doing in TBC and Kringle is that it is not part of that. It has been successful at building its own economy outside of existing system, and it bypasses governments and banks. It's also set up as a society. It is private. It is outside the jurisdiction of, say, the SEC or other governments because it is a private matter. So, but to have a country such as Liberia or any country, even the Philippines and Nigeria, to work with TBC would actually start to eliminate poverty. Now, obviously, with Kim and the trust and Tommy and Tank, they have their agenda and what they want to do. And I'm very happy to have these projects roll forward. I'm ready to get going and build this abundance-based world. But in Liberia, we're going to be having this conversation about how TBC can help the country and other poor countries or everywhere around the world, how it can help people. So this has been 3 years that I've been working on this. And again, so how these all these things come together and meet right here, I've been dealing with the GCR for the last 3-4 years. 2014, so we're 5 years now. Time flies when you're having fun. So anyway, so this is something that is unfolding. We'll see where it's going to go. And if I would say though, if countries are ready to accept sovereignty and collect their money, that's great. If they're on the road and path of the cabal and the IMF and wanting to basically go all crypto, at least if we could put in TBC and Kringle as the alternative, which is not backed by gold, but price is based on what it reflects. The price is reflective of what the price of gold is. It's tied to what the price of gold plus the membership. And so as members grow, the value grows, and so the price increases. So even if gold is going down a bit, the price of the Kringle coin may not be going down as much because it has added value. Everyday members are joining. So how this all comes together, I'm going to see. You're going to watch, because that's what we're doing. We're showing how things are all coming together here. All right. So I'm going to zoom back in here to get to the questions. Okay. Let's slide on down. Okay. I still think that's funny. Ken Dunn called Dan Lutz and others us cabal today. Please send me the link where I find that. I'd love to see that. Who will send that? Coke Van Galen, or is it Galen? All right, so let's keep scrolling here. So Thomas had total BS and had explained why it's never going to happen, and makes I lost what you're saying there. I think you're talking about the GCR is why it's all BS. That makes sense. Can someone please type out Tommy's link because the links never show up for me. All right. Error post is not showing. It's simply top of the chat. Now, if everyone, you know what? What I can do is there is the Telegram group link. I can post it in there. That's what I'll do. I'll post the link, and the Where We Go One, We Go All .love. It's a wwg1wga.love. That's what's there. So this is. I'm going to post the link in there. If anyone, oh, of course, I just pasted the half link because I cut it up. Let me go ahead and I'll grab the link again out of Hangouts. Looks like Tank is not able to make it back on, is he? There, okay, I posted it there. If you want to jump on and you're having problems with the link in the chat, again, I posted it down below. You can find it in the wwg1wga.love. And we've got 32 members in there right now in that Telegram group. And again, this is how I'm trying to coordinate, information. So it's a good place to do it. Let me go back now. Let's see where we're at here. So I live north of Kent. He also was shooting down chemtrail planes. I'm here to tell you that he's doing a piss poor job at his own state. So he's not able to get those planes taken down. Yeah. All right. Let's see. This one, Dan, just put Robert. Put Robert where? Was there actions going on arrests? I don't think that they've started yet, but I've been out of the loop since the broadcast yesterday, so I'm out. So you could probably tell me better. I think Q has officially jumped the shark. Okay. Tank says that Kim reprogrammed the language very source outside the banks is isolated and cut off. That is also true, is what he said. Okay, under true reporting, that's the link. Okay, that's for letting us know where Kent was talking. All right. Oh yeah, he also said that the banks were well 10,000 to 1. We can no longer do that. Yeah, very interesting. The method in which they were actually doing that leveraging is remember that they followed their system and they only tweaking at the edge. So they literally created a I don't really want to go into the details of it, but they created a system that allows for this to happen, this over leveraging. Let's say the multiple leveraging over leveraging over leveraging over leveraging. There's a way that it happens that makes it look legitimate. All right. Patrick Shanahan was the name. Department of Defense is the one that's now working with Kim on these things. So thank you for that name. He is head of the trust. Kim is the clearinghouse. I don't know what that means, though. I don't think that he quite said that he's the head of the trust, but yeah, that doesn't make any sense. And the Kim is the clearinghouse. I think it's the head overseeing what's happening with the trust. He's the appointed person to deal with the trust, I think is what it is. He's the head of the trust would be the trustee, then that's Kim. So I would say don't look at him as the new trustee. That would not be correct. Department of Treasury not allowed to touch the money until Mnuchin is gone. The Department of Treasury will not get any money sent directly to it or have anything to do with anything until Mnuchin is gone. So I don't think Mnuchin will be around too long. What do you think? There's no stops. Money will go to direct all the accounts. Yep. Duty is completely on board. Yep. Fred Rogers. All right. So Shannon was surprised a single woman might know so much about the system, then Tank was cut off. Yes. Yeah, this is so funny, isn't it? Anyway, the information comes out anyway. Well, we'll keep going. I'll see if I can still get a hold of Tank. Yes, I was talking about the number of likes compared to viewers at the end of a broadcast. It shows up that we have a lot of more viewers that have seen it by the end of the broadcast, than what show up as watching now. It's like, it's between 600 to 800 that are normally there, even 900. But the watching now always shows like 150, 200. Tank started early night. Anyone knows what Tommy said? Named Patrick Shanahan as a new Secretary of Defense. Oh, is that right? Tommy's YouTube channel. I will go to Tommy's. Yeah, I'm gonna catch up on Tommy's show from yesterday. Gene Haney says, take from Ken as a badge of honor. Yeah, I think that I'm very open to seeing what people that are in these communities have to say. Right, I'm open. And any of the contacts that I've had, in, let's say, cabal, I would never qualify it as saying that they were evil people, that they were people that I knew, and even people in my life. I've had a very unusual thing, like just as an example. I mean, I've been, when I was in I think it was probably around 30 years old, I was in a room with 6 billionaires. I mean, that doesn't happen. How does that happen, right? And I just, it's not something planned, and it just suddenly happens right there. Right? Something happened yesterday. It's out of the ordinary. But my father-in-law, from my first marriage, was this fourth richest man in India. I didn't know it at the time. Never changed how I interacted with him, how much money he had, anything. I've worked in in very high tech areas, and also been part of developing things that the Black Ops community was desperate to get a hold of. So do I butt up against that world? Yeah, but I was never part of a cabal, never participated in any ceremonies. I would never go that route. That's not me. But creating a world that is abundance-based, that is different. And I've had, conversations with people that are well respected in governments about economies, and we've talked about the same issues. Let's say everyone in government knows what the problem is. They know about the debt system. They don't know how to get out of it. Number one, they're not creators. When you go into government, you have a certain background that draws you to that. It's usually not about being a businessman, and businessmen are creators. We create out of nothing. I've been a businessman my whole life. I just say entrepreneur, but I've brushed up against it in every form, up against the cabal and seeing things. I lived in Los Angeles for most of my life. I saw that side of society which is just completely off. Right? It's going in a different direction than where things should be going. So, anyway, again, give me a call. I'm on Telegram. All right. Tommy said so much in 3 hours. In short, Tommy says the trust has made significant progress over the last couple weeks. All right. Maybe Tank should use Telegram or Signal for the calls. Well, that's the other thing. They've cut him off. What they're doing is they're affecting his internet. They're not allowing the signals to pass. That's where the problem was. Sometimes we can work out something else. I'll give it another shot anyway, just in case he's able to work out a solution. So what do you say? Spend, dispose of your money at Bitcoin. Help them out. Keep them afloat. Well, it may be that it is participating with the cabal system, but that's what we're all doing. If you're dealing with money, you're dealing with it. So I can't really look at any of these transactions that overwhelmingly are going to make any big effect. But let's see. Okay. I just jumped ahead on the conversations there. Where did we go? There it is. I thought Rothschilds put a large investment in Bitcoin. Interesting thing, the Rothschild have a investment company, obviously, makes sense, holds their name. And I'll just did that. I was trying to get a hold of Tank. And what they did, and this was maybe as much as 2 years ago, they bought a bunch of Bitcoin and they printed it to a paper wallet. In essence, they removed it from the blockchain. That's not they hid it from the blockchain is a better way of putting it. When you print a paper wallet, it's not in the computer anywhere, right? It's completely detached from the digital world. It's on a piece of paper. And what did they do to it? Well, they know what to do with paper. They deal with paper all the time. That is their banking business, dealing with paper. They leverage the paper. They put it in a vault, made a safekeeping receipt, and they leveraged it. Yeah. So, yeah. But I know my banking partner in England has contact with some Rothschilds, and I've talked with them about one, and one of them is interested in cryptocurrency, but it doesn't seem like, his impression of the Rothschilds in dealing with cryptocurrency is that they are backwards in regards to this technology. They don't know it, and in fact, in confirmation of what, say, Tommy has said or Tank has said, is that the Rothschilds are getting out of the banking business. And they're selling off all their assets. They're doing stuff. So they're reconfiguring who they are doing, how they're dealing with things. The banking industry, feeling about the Rothschilds is they're old school and don't understand new banking. That's the impression that I'm getting from him. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I'm getting back. Okay. Ken Dunn claims to be a Palladian. What clown he is? Okay. Well, let's get into name calling. I don't like assigning these name calling. It's just not effective. Doesn't help. Hello. Okay, here's a question from Kim Cleaver. Hello, Dan. Where did you post the link for Michelle's regarding mirrors? Oh, I don't know. I can try and add that in, find that link. But if anyone else has it, please go ahead and do it. Now, it was under one of these, I think it was like one of the first Blog Talk radios that we did. I think it was the second one. So if you scroll back, you'll probably see it in the videos. It'll say, just search on my channel for MERS and you'll find it. Okay. Okay. Let's see. If the Rothschilds put weight into Bitcoin and Kim cuts them off of Bitcoin, will fall after it's as part of the cabal. I don't think it's so easy as all that. I mean, you can basically turn off the internet and turn off Bitcoin. We've got a lot of people out there that are built businesses and their lives around Bitcoin. So they're just not going to stop. Right? Number one, the technology of the blockchain is a very good technology for storing information and having secured access to it. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong at all. It's the intent behind what they want to use the cryptocurrency for. What do they want to use? And Bitcoin is not the end all be all for all cryptocurrencies. It's just the first. The type of technologies and things that they want to move into it, I think also under Ethereum is coming as a big player, as well as Ripple. But I don't think, I do not have a strong faith in what Ethereum is going to be able to pull off. I think someone will come around and replace Ethereum's technology. And that's really just about taking this data system, this blockchain data system that stores information in blocks, gives you keys to access it. That added ability of being able to what they call smart contracts, but what they're able to do is have triggered events happening based upon what's to happen with the blockchain. So Ethereum was to say, if A plus B happens, then do C, right? And so if A happens in the blockchain and B happens in the blockchain, then C should happen on the blockchain, or C should happen out on the internet, or C should happen to do whatever that is. So anyway, we will continue. So I've always heard Bitcoin was started by the cabal. That's what I've heard a couple of years now. I've been involved in what was called electronic money, not from the standpoint I was actually doing it, but I was keeping my eye on it and reading materials. I used to spend a lot of time in the developer community, right, and reading blogs and participating in these thought experiments on how do you create electronic money. Bitcoin is a version of electronic money. There's been others, but they really didn't have the ability to propagate. There was no incentive. Now, I have no doubt that the cabal wanted to create electronic money. I do say that that it is more than what they can handle in the blockchain technology because it is a decentralized nature of it. It does give them the tools that as a cabal to take over and create a world currency. It does give them those tools, but the nature of those tools is going to provide the rest of the world freedom, the way I've seen it, because it's decentralized, not centralized. So the nature of something to be decentralized, you can try to contain it, but it will always eventually go back to its nature. It will go decentralized. And when we're talking about an abundance-based system, the world around us is abundance because everything is decentralized. I'm not talking about a source for like there'd be like one car manufacturer, for example. That'd be a centralized system. Is that very effective? Well, anytime that there's been a country that would have a centralized system where the government said everything, it fails. Any place where there's been, I was spending, from my mid-20s for the next 20 years in India. I spent a lot of time in India. I saw it transform from where, when communism first took hold in India, the car manufacturers there were locked in time. Never one advancement. Everything just kept making the exact same cars. So when I was there in the 90s, what I saw was 1950s vehicles. 40-year-old everything. They had one called the Ambassador, right? Looked like a big rounded, kind of 1950s, sort of a rounded, like a beetle that got really beef and buffed out. But and they had a couple other there, but the most prevalent vehicle there was a Fiat, and all taxis were Fiats, right? And everyone that wanted a personal car, it was a Fiat, because the Ambassador class was only used by government, right? And everyone else used the Fiats. But there was no development. It was a centralized car system. So when you have multiple people able to make cars, and you have all this variety, and then everyone tries to correct their systems and make a better system. So I don't think that we're going to see a system where, back to the blockchain, where it is centralized and it will be maintained that way. What I'm talking about in, say, Liberia, I'm talking about in a system of a centralized bank system. If they were to use, TBC as a currency, right, it would, in essence, have a stable value. It's not going to fall very much, right? The price will be, going where gold is, and gold price is going to be going up. And even if it does go down a bit, their members keep joining, so with upward pressure. But but the model is a have a multiple cryptocurrencies, right? And so all of these different cryptos, there's going to be unlimited numbers of cryptocurrencies coming out because the nature of currency is changing. And that's why I say that they didn't know what they were getting when they got the blockchain. They can't, they're not creative in their thought processes. They can't project what it's going to look like. They think that they're creating this, but the world around it is already changed. So is there going to be 10,000 cryptocurrencies? Yes, because every major company will have their own. They'll just be a way of exchanging between different ones. Any organization could have a cryptocurrency. Now, does that make much sense for most people? No. You have your own personal cryptocurrency and you go around spending your own cryptocurrency. You have to have some way of expressing that, right? So there will be consolidation into groups, and they will have a period of time where they have more value than others, and they will dissipate, and then another will rise, and this will be more decentralized. Well, we'll continue on. Tommy's YouTube channel. What is it? THI. So that's the, but it's Tommy Williams, I believe, is the way that the channel comes out. Tommy Williams. So I jumped around again. Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh. Q Dan. Question. Dan, start at 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 36 seconds. What does that mean? I mean, I've only been into this for, I should go look. Oh, you're telling me to look somewhere on the video. Ah, I got you now. Started an 1 hour and 3 minutes in. I got it now. Thank you. Okay. So Donald Trump said on Thursday that he would nominate Patrick Shanahan to be his second Secretary of Defense. Okay. The great Kev Baker show today with Dorothy Rose Quantum Computing. I don't know where you're going with that. Okay. Sorry if this cold keeps coming back. Interesting. Do you see the post to Dan with the address to the video that trashes Dan taking it? No. No, I haven't seen those. Where are they? I'll send them to me in Telegram, please. Another timestamp. Okay, thank you. I'm getting excited. So, well, we're going to make this a short show, or over an hour. I'm going to continue. I'll complete this. If someone wants to come on, we can talk. Otherwise, when I'm done going through the questions or the chat here, I'll go ahead and end it, and then I'll see if I can get a hold of Tank and get some more, or at least I'm going to catch up on Tommy what Tommy had to say. Robert, you having trouble keeping up with it all? Yeah. Well, yesterday, okay. Hello, Tank.
Hey, man. Still on?
I'm still on. Yeah, we're here. I was just saying we'll make this a short show if I'm finished going through all the super chat. So, but you were cut off and couldn't get back a hold of you.
Being harassed by the police just now. Just got two cops pulled up on me with in plain clothes, unmarked cars, and unmarked car, and they pulled me out of the car and they searched through the entire car looking for drugs or something. I had just done laundry and they started asking me questions about what's with all the girls
Hi,
in
Dan.
the car. So I had my daughter's underwear because I just did her laundry.
Yeah.
And I told them I did not consent to them pulling me over, and I asked to see their oath of office.
Okay. And what happened?
And they left. So that's the current state of the union.
Okay. So,
now,
where do we leave off
what's the
here?
last thing you heard? Yeah.
We can start over.
All right.
We didn't get that much into it,
So-
other than Patrick Shanahan's the new Treasury. What is
So
it?
he's the head of the Department of Defense, which is the acting temporary treasury. The Department of the Treasury will not be allowed to act as the Treasury again until Steve Mnuchin is removed. The Manna World Holding Trust, Kim herself, will be the temporary clearinghouse until people adjust to what's going on. So she will be the one clearing. Now, no agencies, no other organizations, none of the various duplicity organizations. There are several organizations doing the exact same job. None of them have any access any longer. She actually wrote the entire new financial system, written in a code, a language that no one else speaks except for her and I guess very selected few other individuals. So none of them can peer into what's going on, and even if they couldn't program anything differently because they don't understand what's there. And so the funds right now, they can clear, and now very easily to the bank. There's still, Kim has been working on this all day, still working on bypassing any human interference whatsoever. So once the funds come in, you can still have people, banks still have to function, so they generally need to be able to move money. So you can't guarantee they're not going to get that, that phone call that says don't clear that money, or send it into the abyss, right? The lost in space accounts. So she's been working on finalizing and figuring those pieces out to figure out how to clear it directly to the account. But all the other obstacles at this point, they are completely neutered, and they shouldn't be able to touch any of their, of the money, the fraudulent money that they had. And like I said, they were, all of the, what we thought it's a transfer that would seem to take seconds, but in reality, would have 3 or 4 stops, then they would hold it for 3 days, and they would leverage that money, and then they would take the profits, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea they were doing it 50 to 10,000 times for every dollar. So for every $1, they could take it up to 10,000, and that's what they were doing. So that will no longer happen. So for all practical intents and purposes, I would say that the penis of the dragon has been cut off. So that's what it would appear. And you can quote me on that. Yeah. So
the penis of the dragon has been amputated.
Yes, they have been castrated.
Yeah. Well, that's just the balls.
Yeah. So that's great news, and I'm praying that Kim works out that little final piece here tonight, or is now. I mean, she's working on it, But that's the concern, right? You do all this work, you get it in there, and then the problem is people. At the end of the day, it's still people that are there, right?
Right.
It's like the money comes in and they get some phone call, and I don't even know how it is that we're not able to work this out, But at least with Patrick Shanahan, he asked to see certain proofs. He saw them from Kim. She showed him the accounts. He was able to look at it directly. In addition to that, the talk around was, they could not believe that Kim took down this, Quadzilla, this massive, financial slavery system. It managed a system of trillions of dollars with just her and just, a very small team of people. And yet it's so anyhow. So we bet on the right people, bet on the right horse.
Yeah, they need to basically, cut bait and throw in another line or catch something, because they need to realize that they haven't been proceeding on that side. So it's time to reevaluate. Sorry,
what's amazing is that one of their big issues is that it was a woman. How could this woman know these things? I just thought, I'm like, wow, that is incredibly ignorant.
Right,
just
right.
incredibly ignorant. But it's an inspiring time. I'm actually kind of in shock. So pleased right now that she was able to do that, because this last piece, essentially she's able to work inside the system for the first time without worrying about massive agencies interfering. There's nothing. They don't even. What I love about it, they don't even speak the language, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty incredible.
Well, that is. So she's able to now, do more because she's in the banking system, and what's the level at which say the other people in the bank can see what she's doing?
Well, I mean, when she transfers the money into the bank, there's functions, right? So when the money comes directly into the bank, then from there, right, now it's boom, money's there. So they just have to put it in the appropriate account, right? Basically, my understanding of it. Or she could probably land it directly in the account now, but then they can move it, right? Because they're the bank, so they can come up with some trumped up thing like, oh, we were suspicious of this, right? Or nothing. They'll just move it instantaneously, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because for the longest time, anything coming out of the Manna World Holding Trust was flagged. The Federal Reserve had create change flagged. I'm sure Thomas Snoop was probably flagged too. But we were actively setting up accounts all over the country and all over the world. Anything that would come to us, we'd get flagged immediately. So we wouldn't even get a chance to receive money. It would just be instantaneously, put down that way. So,
So now,
long story short,
well, it's a good one. We can still, make this a shorter show today. I've done no research. I'm anxious to hear what Tommy had to say. I'm reading the comments in the chat, and everyone says that Tommy had revealed a lot of stuff. So it'd be interesting to see what he has.
Yes, I would highly recommend going to Spreaker and listening to the THI show tonight. Tommy had great news, and so everything's coming together. Let's hope we just crash to this next step, and have a great day. You know what? And I'll tell you, if it goes through, it's play. I was hoping this was I was talking to Kim even when we were going back and forth. I was hoping she would tell me that funds were clear. Go check your account, and then I would have come back again and dropped it and been like, okay, we'll see you in 2 weeks. It's fine.
Well, that's what I said. Everyone's gonna take a vacation right away.
No doubt.
Well, my vacation is going to be a working vacation. go and see Tui, go and see you, go and see everyone that I need to start knocking on doors and getting people coordinated into the big plan.
The big plan.
Not theirs, not the cabal plan. So relax.
Right. No, talking about our big ideas.
Our plan. Yeah.
The cabal plan has failed miserably. You got people like Nadler and Pelosi in charge. I mean, really?
Oh, yeah.
Is he going to fight anymore? I mean, come on. So.
Well, this is what I'm also finding pretty amazing. So, all of this stuff that they've taken, even let's just say the last, 4 or 5 decades for them to set up, right? As a takeover, right? For Trump to come in and in 2 years, a creative business mind undoes everything that they've put into place and has outmaneuvered them at every turn, and is playing them like puppets, right? And literally has put us in a position to literally change the world. We're now able to go out and do everything we've wanted to do to make the world a better place.
You know what I love is President Trump is doing things that we all know make more sense, right?
Yeah.
For example, today, I don't know if you saw this, but he had a surprise press conference, and he pointed out that the Republican Party is fast becoming the new healthcare party, right? And how, for the first time in 46 years, prescription prices have gone down under Trump. Then he did away with the surprise medical billing, right? Like, you go into the emergency room for one thing, right? And then all of a sudden, like, you get x-rays. All of a sudden, you get a bill for like $12,000.
Yeah.
Like, so he did away with that. So it won't be able to happen anymore.
Yeah, I remember I remember my son went in for he got a he had a like poison ivy or poison something like that from being out in the woods, and they had to give him a cortisone shot. Right, he went and he came away with a bill for $1,200.
Jeez. Yep, that's kind of how they roll.
Yep. So it's like $400 toilet seats, right? There's no reason why these things should cost so much, right? Even the equipment that is created, yes, it takes a lot of money to create this machinery, but then they leave it so highly priced. Let's just say an MRI, for example, where it's tens of millions of dollars to buy one of these top. So okay, fine. It took that a lot of money to build it. You should get your money back out of it. But if it drops down to where it's like $20,000 for one of these devices because of the materials and everything other costs, then there's so many of them out in the world that people can get diagnostics and the cost is much lower. But because they keep these prices high. And the government is paying these things through the insurance, even through, if you look at Medicaid, Medicare, these type of the government paid ones, that they're authorizing these higher prices, right? So it keeps it locked in. The market doesn't get to drive the price down, because the government's going to keep paying. So in essence, it creates a barrier from capitalism to actually allow the price to drop, which means then it's restrictive, which means it gets more expensive. So, endless cycle. Anyway, it's time for us to create change.
Even now, if Eisenhower would have put it down, he would have been like, the military industrialized medical complex, right?
Right.
Because the medical economy is a monster. It's not even a medical economy. It's bio warfare against us.
Well, we have to get the government out of regulating the cost of things and paying for people. That's what ends up happening. Even the poor people, the government shouldn't be involved. Right? It needs to be charities that are handling that, right? It needs to be the communities that are handling that. If people don't have the ability to pay for something, the community has to be able to do it. So, but as soon as you get the government involved, they're going to mess it up, and that's what's happened.
Well, they're trying to get a law passed right now in Congress to do away with certain supplements, right? Just do away with them, that you can't have them unless they're regulated by, by prescriptions, right?
Right.
So, as soon as that happens, now you transfer the power over to the insurance companies / pharma companies, but definitely not the doctors, right? And then the misinformation in the medical community is rampant, right? Because all they look at is disease management. All they do is treat disease. They don't treat people, right? They're not proactive. They're just treating the disease. And pretty much, in internal medicine, you basically have a script. You just follow a script.
Right.
And they get it from the insurance company. This is what's covered, right? Nobody's going to pay, $400 for a prescription, with their copay is $40, right?
Right.
So, and I like what Trump's doing, because one of the other things he said was that the pharmaceutical companies overcharge so much, right? So now they're going to buy in bulk all of these prescriptions from other countries, like Canada and things like that, right? So let's buy them in bulk, because they're charging, a tenth of what they charge here.
Oh yeah, it's the Philippines major output of export is nurses. Medical is very high on the the industrial side of things. So they have big medical facilities, and they have top-notch everything here in the Philippines, and they even look at it as medical destination zones. If you want to go for recuperating or having surgeries and things like that, you can come to the Philippines and get this done. So there was someone in need. They had a problem. I said that I would pay for it. I walked in with them. This was in the Makati Medical Center. This is one of the most prestigious places here in the Philippines. Makati is like, saying, it's like the Wall Street of or the business zone of Manila. So walked in the Makati Medical Center. She had a blood test, MRI, met with a specialist, and everything within 4 hours. It was all completed. The cost was $130. All the tests, meeting with everyone, doing an MRI, $130. Oh, and medication as well. So there's no reason for these extreme prices. There is no insurance here in the way that there is insurance here, but it's kind of very rudimentary insurance. Hey, Tank, we're getting extra breathing noises. Adjust your microphone. Otherwise, we're gonna have a I don't know, like a X rating for the call.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. Anyway, so the medical can be redone in a way that makes much more sense, and it's not outlandish prices even to go meet with the doctor. And they want to regulate doctors how much to get paid, so that means there's not going to be as many doctors. Right, and so then the cost of everything goes up, and then you only get to see a doctor for like 32 seconds, because that's your allotment of time. Yeah, instead of spending 20 minutes with the doctor. I don't know how much it actually will take, but
well, okay then.
Yeah. So. Anyway, if there's anything else we should cover, I do want to end this because I do have that project I started yesterday. I have people trying to reach me, and I should get back to them so that we can complete these things. But we can continue tomorrow, and we'll see where things go. If you're anyway, we'll talk shortly. But we'll just say goodbye
All right,
for
cool,
now,
okay.
everyone. We'll catch you tomorrow.
All right.